Good morning, children. How are you? Okay, all of you fine, I think. Okay, children. In the previous session, already we have completed in previous month respiration, the energy producing system. Now, today we are going to Unit 3 Transportation, the circulatory system. Okay, children, the introduction of transportation. All living organisms need nutrients. Okay, do you know, children? All living organisms need nutrients, gases, liquid, etc. for growth and maintenance of the body. Here, all living organisms would need to send these materials to all parts of their body, whether they are unicellular or multicellular. For example, in unicellular, organisms like amoeba, hydra, etc., all the materials are transported through a simple process like diffusion osmosis. In higher animals or multicellular organisms with trillions of cells in their body. Here, see, children, to avoid delay, a separate system is needed to carry the materials much faster and more efficiently. This specialized system that is developed by organisms is called the circulatory system. We eat solids, we drink liquids, and we breathe gases. Do you think that is possible to transport all the three types of materials through a single system? No, it is not possible to transport all materials through a single system. They need a specialized system that is developed by organisms is called circulatory system. Let us study how this circulation is carried out in our body. Yes, children. Now we are going to the definition of what is transportation. Materials from one part to another part is called transportation. Transportation in human beings is carried out by circulatory system of organs, tubes and blood. In human body, circulatory system is made up of a pumping heart, blood and lymph. Okay, children, now we are know about circulatory system. Circulatory system containing of tubes, capillaries, arteries and veins, heart and blood is called vascular system. Okay, children, let us study how this circulation is carried out in our body. Okay, children, have you ever observed a doctor holding the wrist of the patient and looking at his watch for a minute? Have you observed? What is that he is trying to find out from the watch and the wrist of the patient? You may wonder to know that he is counting the heartbeat of the patient. Okay, children, don't you Don't you think that is crazy holding the hand to count the heartbeat? Now you could try to find out for yourself what the doctor was doing. Keep your index and middle fingers on your wrist below the thumb as shown in the figure. Okay, children. Okay, let us find out the okay, children. Now you can find out to count the heartbeat by a small activity. Okay, children, if you could try to find out for yourself and other also what the doctor was doing. Keep our index or middle finger on your wrist below the thumb as shown in the figure. Okay, now you feel something pushing your fingers rhythmically up and down. Now let us count the rhythm, which is called the pulse, for a minute. Now stand up and jog for 1 minute at the same place. Note the pulse for a minute. Take at least 2 readings of your friends in the same manner and record in the following table. Okay, children, what did you feel now? After the activity, what did you feel? Next, what did you observe in the pulse rate? Same in both conditions? Yes. No, children. Is the pulse rate same in both conditions? No, children. You can observe and note in your textbook. Okay, children. Okay, children. Now I am asking some few questions about pulse rate. Okay. What did you find, children, in the above activity? Okay. When do you think that our pulse rate goes up? Okay. What does the pulse rate show? Okay, children. Next, see, children, do you know the normal pulse rates in the table? You can observe in the table. Here, see, children, newborns 0 to 3 months babies pulse rate is 100 to 150 beats per minute. Infants means 3 to 6 months. Heartbeat is 90 to 120 beats per minute. Infants 6 to 12 months babies 80 to 120 beats per minute. The children's 1 to 10 years children's 70 to 130 beat rates per minute. Next, children over 10 years and adults including senior citizens also 60 to 100 beats per minute. Well trained adults athletes 40 to 60 beats per minute. Okay, children. In the year 1816, René Laennec discovered the stethoscope. Before the discovery of stethoscope, doctors used to hear heartbeat by keeping ear on the chest of the patient. After some few years, René Laennec found that paper tube helps to hear the heartbeat perfectly. Then he used a bamboo instead of paper tube to hear the heartbeat. After that, 1816, René Laennec discovered the stethoscope. This is the about stethoscope. Next, activity 3 children. Let us repeat the work done by Laennec. Here, make a paper. You can do children the activity 3. Make a paper tube 10 inches long and 1 inch in diameter. Keep one end of it on the chest of your friend. On a point 1 inch to the left side to the center around 6 inches below from his or her neck. Keep your ear at the other end. Listen carefully and count the heartbeats for a minute. Here, also count on your friend's pulse rate and note observations of at least 10 students of your class in the following tabular form. Okay, children? Okay. Next, children, we are going to the next topic, external structure of the heart. Do you know, children, all of you having heart? Yes, children. The heart is a pear-shaped structure or triangle in outline, wider at the anterior end and narrower at the posterior end. The heart is covered by 2 layers of membranes. The membranes are called pericardial membranes. The space between these 2 layers is filled with pericardial fluid, which protects the heart from shocks. This is the external structure of heart. Okay, now you can observe the picture of heart, children. Okay, next we are going to the internal structure of heart. Internal structure of heart. Here, see, children, the heart is divided into 4 parts. 2 upper parts are called atria. Atria means auricles. The lower ones are called ventricles. The walls of the ventricles are relatively thicker than atrial walls. In our observations, we found that the heart has 4 chambers in it. On the left side, 2 chambers are present, and one is anterior and another one is posterior. On the right side, also 2 chambers are present. In the inner space of the left atrium and ventricle are smaller when compared to that of right atrium and right ventricles. Next, the children. Okay, children. Next, the coronary vessels. The blood vessels found in the walls of the heart are called coronary vessels. What is the function of the coronary vessel? Which supply food to the muscles of the heart. Next, arteries. The rigid vessels are called arteries. Here, the arteries are located which originate from the heart. The function of the arteries supply blood to various organs in the body. The larger artery is the aorta. Next, pulmonary artery. The relatively smaller one is pulmonary artery. which carries blood from the heart to the lungs. Next, veins. The less rigged vessels are called veins, which bring blood from all body parts to the heart. Next, superior vena cava or precaval vein. The vein which is at the anterior end of the right side of the heart is called superior vena cava. Superior vena cava, which collects blood from anterior parts of the body. Like anterior parts means head and neck. Next, inferior vena cava. This is also known as postcaval vein. The vein which is coming from posterior part of the heart is called inferior vena cava. Here see children, the function of the inferior vena cava, which collects blood from posterior part like hand and legs of the body. This is the blood vessels. Next, septa. Septa means the two atria and two ventricles are separated from each other by muscular partitions called septa. Here some walls are present in the atria and between ventricle walls. The opening between atria and ventricles are guarded by walls. Here tricuspid valve. The valve present on the right auriculoventricular septum between right atrium and right ventricle is referred to as. Next, bicuspid valve. This is also known as mitral valve. The valve present on the left auriculoventricular septum between the left atrium and left ventricle is referred to as. This is the bicuspid valve. Next, lungs. It is situated in the thoracic cavity, which lies above diaphragm between the two lungs. Lungs enclosed in a double-walled membranous sac called pleura. Next, pulmonary aorta. It is a major blood vessel that originates from right ventricle is pulmonary aorta, which pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to lungs. Next, pulmonary veins. It is a large blood vessel that originates from left atrium is pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from the lungs and drain into the left atrium of the heart. This is the pulmonary vein. Next, pulmonary valves. The vessels present at the region of the pulmonary aorta are called pulmonary valves. Here, systematic aorta, the major blood vessel originates from left ventricle is called systematic aorta. Here see children, systematic valves are present at the region of the systematic aorta called systemic valves. Aorta arises the upper part of the left ventricle, a thick blood vessel called aorta rise. It supplies oxygenated blood to the body parts. This is the aorta arise. Here pulmonary artery arises It originates from the upper part of the right ventricle, is called pulmonary artery arises, which supplies deoxygenated blood to the lungs. This is the internal structure of the heart. Okay, children? Okay, children. Next, we are going to the next concept, the blood vessels and circulation. Okay, children. Already we know that about the internal structure of heart. In that topic, we have learned some blood vessels like arteries and veins. Now let us study how we came to know about the structure and functions of the blood vessels. Okay, children, in 1574, an Italian doctor Girolamo Fabrici was studying veins in the leg. Okay, children, vein. Vein means already we know that the less rigged vessels are called veins, which bring deoxygenated blood from body parts to the heart. He noticed that they had small valves in them. If the blood moved in one direction, if blood moved in the opposite direction, the valves closed. This means they are one-way valves. The valves permitted the blood to move even when a person is standing upright, but not move downward. When the valves in the veins are not working well, it is difficult for the blood to move up towards the heart. The blood may flow back and collect in the tissues of the lower legs and feet, causing swelling and sores. The condition is called chronic venous insufficiency. Chronic venous insufficiency. This is the studying of veins in legs by Girolamo Fabrici. Next, William Harvey. He was an British man. He was a British man who, after he became a doctor, went to Italy for further education and studied under Fabrici. Girolamo Fabrici missed the importance of his own discovery, but then he dissected the heart of dead people and studied the walls between each atrium and its ventricle. Okay, children, now let us discuss about her observations. He noticed that there were one-way valves. They allowed the blood to flow from the atrium to ventricle without any hindrance. When the heart contracted, however, no blood in the ventricle could flow back into the atrium. Instead, all the blood was pushed out into the arteries. Harvey began thinking about the walls his teacher Fabrici had discovered in the leg veins. They were one way and they forced the blood to move towards the heart. Okay, children, one day he experimented on the veins. Once he checked that by tying off and blocking different veins in animals. Next, after okay, children, he experimented on the veins always bulged on the side of the black away from the heart. As though the blood is trying to flow towards the heart and to accumulate just below the black because it simply could not flow away from the heart. This was true of all veins. In the arteries, the blood bulged on the heart side of any blocked. He put in as though it were trying to flow away from the heart and could not move in the other direction. Harvey now saw what was happening in this condition. The heart pushed blood into the arteries and the blood returned by way of the veins. It did this for both ventricles. The blood had a double circulation. If one started from the right ventricle, it left by way of the arteries to the lungs and returned by way of the veins to the left atrium and from there into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it left by way of the arteries to the rest of the body and returned by way of the veins to the right atrium and from there into the right ventricle. Then it started all over. Harvey also showed that it was impossible. Suppose that the blood was used up in the body and that new blood was formed. He measured how much blood the heart pumped in one contraction and also counted the number of contractions. He found that in 1 hour the heart pumped out that was 3 times the weight of a man. The body could not use up blood and from new blood at such a rate. The same blood had to circulate and be used over the again. Here, Harvey still had some problems. The smallest arteries and veins that could be seen had to be connected by vessels too small to see. Were they really there? After Harvey, in the 1650s, scientists had learned to put lens together in such a way that objects too small to see with naked eye could be magnified and made visible. Here the Marcello Malpighi with the microscope, he could see tiny blood vessels that were invisible with naked eye. In the 1661, 4 years after Harvey's death, Marcello Malpighi studied the wings of bat. He could see blood vessels, capillaries. The word came from capillaries, Latin word. The meaning of capillaries, hair, because they were as thin as the finest of hair. With the discovery of capillaries, the idea of the circulation of the blood was completed, and it has been accepted ever since. Now we know that blood circulates in the blood vessels. But how did the scientists find out that blood moves in the blood vessels? Is it possible to demonstrate the movement of blood in vessels without damaging the vessels? No. Let us repeat the classical experiment to demonstrate the movement of blood in veins conducted by William Harvey in early 17th century. Here repeat the classical experiment. Already we know that children, this experiment was done by William Harvey when there was no compound microscope or any other modern equipment. Next, this is the okay children. Next, we are going to arteries and veins. Already we know that children, what is artery, what is vein. There are two types of blood vessels are called arteries and veins. Here, first one, arteries. The rigid vessels are called arteries. The function of the arteries carry blood from the heart to body parts. Let us see the diagram, children. Next, the less rigid vessels are called veins. Veins carry blood from body parts to heart. Body parts to heart. Once see the diagram, children. Next, blood capillaries. Blood capillaries, vessels made up of single layer of cells called blood capillaries. Already we know that about what is capillaries. The word capillary came from Latin. The word capillaries, the word came from capillaries, Latin word. The meaning of capillary, hair. Vessels made up of a single layer of cells called blood capillaries. The function of the blood capillaries, diffusion of various substances, exchange of substance within the cell. This is the three types of blood vessels. Okay children. In the topic of arteries, veins and capillaries, questions asked in your exam point of view. Already they given diagrams, children. Name the diagrams A and B. It is also one type of question. What are the differences between these two? I mean these two means artery. What is the differences between arteries and veins? Next question. Which of these structures are deeply seated and which are peripheral? Next, in which blood vessel walls are found? What is the function of the walls in them? And here see children, given the table, the differences between arteries and functions. Okay.